ThatGreatBusinessShow.com is brought to you by De Facto Shaving Oil, the best anyone can get. Made in Ireland, sold worldwide.
Welcome to That Great Business Show, episode 10, recorded on November the 26th, 2020. And we're getting greedy on That Great Business Show. That's why we had to pack in an extra interview into our format today, particularly as the reason we wanted to do that is because our final interview today will be with a boy. Yes, a mere slip of a lad who has landed himself a contract with Aldi Ireland, supplying all of their stores nationwide. Not bad when you're still only 16. Also, we'll be talking to Anne Morgan, boss of Newry HQ'd builder suppliers, the Murdoch Group. John Hassett from Tralee-based Wasp, one designing products for Kia. Tara Lane of Centrepiece Rosettes, still smiling despite Brexit, COVID, and whatever else life could throw at her Kildare-based business. And Aidan Megan of Waterford-based Natterjack Whiskey on why he's moving to the US and about that threatening letter from mega distiller Jack Daniels. As always, we work to be gender and regional balanced because we do business differently. You can contact us on thatgreatbusinessshow.com if you want to recommend a business to us. It could be yours or a pal's. Check out the website at the very bottom where you'll see want to share your story.
Or I can just say
are there.
They could slide into your DMs or my DMs.
As well. And that's on Twitter. Not everybody uses Twitter, you know.
Or Instagram.
Oh, well, that's you. And thanks to you, our own business continues to thrive, surpassing all our ambitious listeners' targets. And that's because you, Team GBS, continue to recommend Ireland's best business podcast to your pals. Follow us on Team GBS1 on Twitter. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram with Jamie. And we love emails to producer@thatgreatbusinessshow.com. I'm Conal O'Moran and my co-host is Jamie Heaslip, former pro rugby player, entrepreneur, investor, podcaster, and also currently doing a very entertaining job as a TV rugby pundit, bringing us something called Jamie's Jewels. His pre-match interview with Keelan Doris last week was way better than that match. Good on you, Jamie. But before we start, Jamie, I think I'll dispense with Jamie's words of wisdom this week because, and you don't know this because I always like to do this, I was listening to episode 86 of Gary Fox's The Entrepreneur Experiment podcast, where Gary interviewed you for an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Now, after 20 minutes, I was pure exhausted as you explained your daily routine. You are the original Duracell bunny. Briefly, if that's possible, tell listeners what you do all day to be as successful as you are. Holy God, 6 o'clock you start, and then
I'll give you today.
Yeah, this is real. He's reading this from his journal or whatever he does.
My journal. I got up at 6. I went for a 20-minute run, got back in, a bit of meditation, journaling, a little bit of reading. Harper got up.
Harper's the baby.
Yes. A bottle with Harper and a bit of the Grinch because it's Christmas, sure. Why not? A lot to be learned from the Grinch, actually. Read the news while she's doing that. And then I hit the desk by about 8:30 because I had a presentation at 9:30 to the Institute of Directors today. And then, what did I do then? After that, I grabbed a quick coffee with my wife in town and then got back. What else did I have? I had stuff kind of through my list to do. Then I hit the gym. You must have
made it up for Gary Fox.
And then I hit the gym and then came here.
Hit the gym for how long?
I was in the gym for, all in all, in and out in an hour before I came here.
Okay, and then when you leave here?
When I leave here, I will go home and then I have stuff for my executive MBA that I need to get done as well.
Homework.
Yeah. And then I'll do stuff around coaching. It depends on the day, but usually the day goes that kind of morning, 8:30 to 10 is kind of learning, staying on top of coaching that I do. And then
you forgot your Twitter because you also send out your little tweet every morning.
Yeah, just before I go on my run usually, yeah.
I got tired listening to what he was doing because I just said, oh my God, I'm in bed. Now I'm tweeting in bed, but I'm in bed. And you're running by.
Yeah, someday you will join me outside, won't you?
Someday pigs will fly. Now, let us go.
Sorry, we're completely boring you.
No, very interesting.
Let us get back down to That Great Business Show, because unless you're in the building trade, you may not have heard of the family-owned Murdoch Group based in Newry, County Down. The company has close to 20 units in both Northern Ireland and within the M50 in Dublin. Established in 1982, the Murdoch Group has carved a niche for itself in the no-bull construction sector by focusing on service, and service. The boss of Murdoch is Anne Morgan, who came to construction via our favoured circuitous route, spending some time teaching, graduating to HR, and then, of course, to supplying bricks and mortar, as you do. Anne, you are very welcome to
Thank you
That
very
Great.
much.
Now, the first question I'm going to ask you is, how do you hang a door?
How do I hang a door?
That was the one question she told me. Don't ask
Don't
me.
say that to him.
Ask me anything about building. We're not builders, I told him.
Tell
I'm
us
not the person to hang a door.
But you know the person to hang the door.
I would know a
And
person,
that's-
yes, indirectly, but we don't hang doors in Murdoch's. No.
What do you do in Murdoch?
We will supply you with the door and the ironmongery and everything to go with it, but we won't actually hang it.
And how do you differentiate yourselves from the other very well-known big names in that industry?
I would say that we differentiate ourselves through service. I think we are very focused. We try to be very focused on service. We have a lot of long-serving employees who've built up a wealth of knowledge and expertise. We have a culture of wanting to serve people better. We want them to come back to us. We want them to spread the word about us. And I suppose as well, one of the things that we probably don't do enough of, but we want to get a message out there. Murdoch Builders Merchants, you think it's a builders only. But in actual fact, Murdoch Builders Merchants caters for just the ordinary public. We might not hang doors, but we will sell you everything to hang a door, and a lot of people that work for Murdoch's have been with us. I was just actually looking last night. We've about 380 employees at the minute, north and south. And I would say easily, conservatively, over 150 have at least 10 years service with us. And I think of that 150, over 50 have 20 years service. And we have a handful with 30 plus years service. So if you're looking for information on anything to do with the materials to hang a door, we're the people.
Now, a question, you mentioned service a couple of times straight out the gate there. And doing our research kind of helped me do my research.
I don't know when you find time to do research, Jamie, after that list of activities you were at.
Dead right. You're talking to the researcher here.
Moving swiftly onwards. But little birdie told me you give bottomless cups of coffee to people who come in.
Yes.
Is that straight out of your book of values and things that you want to do, or is it a gimmick?
No, it's not a gimmick. We've been doing it for years. We do it in every single merchant that we have across the north and across Greater Dublin. When customers come in, they can have a cup of coffee on Murdoch's. There's usually a sort of box of biscuits, or in these COVID-related times, sort of socially safe biscuits and that sort of thing. So,
what's a socially safe biscuit?
Well, a biscuit that nobody else can possibly have handled.
Okay,
they're probably the ones nobody wants.
No.
The coffee-flavoured sweet
no cheap biscuits at
Marietta
Murdoch's.
or
No
something.
cheap biscuits at Murdoch's. Good quality coffee and good quality biscuits.
The day you
and good
start
quality
putting,
building materials.
Yes. Well done.
have you ever had Lismore biscuits? Lismore and County Water.
Not only that, I don't think I've heard of Lismore biscuits.
Evil. They were on the Great Business Show with us.
Right.
Have you finished a box already?
I have.
You're an animal.
They're drugs. They're fantastic. Anyway, sorry. The day you
I shall
put
have
those
to
in,
investigate.
because I know what he's going to ask you next.
All right, okay. Hope it's not too tricky.
It is. It's about the margin.
Oh, the margin,
Yeah.
okay.
So, I renovated my house in 2017.
Yep.
Okay.
He had it renovated. He was not out there.
Sorry. Just like you don't hang the door, right?
Yes. You supervised.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Well, my wife did, but that's for another day, right? But anyway, my next door neighbour is actually renovating their house right now.
Mm-hmm.
And, talking to them, their costs have seemed to have gone up a lot.
Materials costs.
Since 2017.
Okay.
What's going on?
Well, I would say, first of all, I would be asking the question, is it the materials cost or is it the cost of labour? because usually when you're getting your house done up and you're bringing somebody in to do it from outside, then obviously labour is a big part of your cost, much more so than the actual materials. So if the cost has gone up, in general, I would imagine that it's more the labour than the materials. But materials have gone up. We're in 2020. We know about shortage of supply. And when there's shortage, material costs go up.
But why?
But why?
Why? Like, we're still building the same number of... Well, we should be building the same
Actually,
number of
building
houses.
less, I think, than last year, aren't we?
And I can't get them. We had Donald.
I know you're not
Donald
a builder,
Byrne.
by the way, so
No,
we
not
wouldn't have
a
you.
builder, and let me clarify, not a supplier either.
Because Donald Byrne of the Big Red Barn Company was on with us again, and he was talking about that in January, post-Brexit, because we want to talk to you about Brexit.
Mm-hmm.
Brexit. He said 20% increase
Yeah,
expected.
something like
What are you
20%.
expecting with Brexit, or are you?
In terms of
The Republic
increases,
yeah.
we don't know yet.
I know, but you must.
No,
do you
we
not
don't
sit
know
around
yet.
the board table thinking?
No, we don't.
But you must be ordering or pre-ordering. This is now almost December.
Mm-hmm.
This is all happening in about 4 weeks' time.
We anticipate, Conal, that prices will go up, but we don't know by how much. And that's just a very short but honest answer.
Are you assuming, or do you anticipate huge supply issues? Are we going to have our steel, our blocks sitting over in Britain somewhere? Or?
Well, we anticipate some supply issues. Again, there's no certainty around it. That's one of the worrying things about Brexit from a business point of view, is the level of uncertainty. We're right up now, more or less, against the
5
wire,
weeks out.
ourselves and every other sort of business who brings product across from GB. So the uncertainty is a worry. What we're doing in Murdoch's, and we've been sort of operational on getting ready for Brexit from probably actively this last 6 to 9 months, in and around, as well as trying to deal with the COVID-19 situation. Brexit got a little bit lost in the coronavirus thing, but I mean, we're now 3 or 4 weeks from Christmas, so we're refocused on it.
And
very
just
much so.
a question is so with the fact that, traveling across, for my generation,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that I never knew a border there. I never knew any sort of, and you freely go across the border.
Up and down from north to south, you're talking,
right? Yeah, exactly. And it seems like, I don't know, it seems like you got amazing growth off the back of this for the company, both on both sides, right?
Yeah.
Up the north and in the south. So what are you seeing for like the major problems that might not be, the problems approaching your business that deals on both sides versus someone in, the south or just the north, that people aren't seeing as obviously?
Yeah. I don't think we see any particular discrete problems trading north and south of the border. We have branches in the north, we have branches in the south. We don't tend to treat them differently. A lot of our suppliers supply mutually to north and south. The border is frictionless at the moment and looks like it's going to continue to be frictionless.
Is that a hope now? Or?
Yeah, it's a hope. It's a hope, yes. But everybody appears to be saying. I mean, everybody.
I think it's the one everyone wants.
Everyone
isn't it?
wants, exactly. Everybody sees the sense in there being no problems at the border, no sort of a hard border, no sort of checks on the border. Yeah. The fact is, everything's very uncertain, but that's the one thing that a common desire, I think.
Yeah.
When you are bringing stock in from the UK, from Britain, do you bring it into Northern Ireland, then down south, or how does it actually transport?
It comes in. Some of it comes into the north, and some of it and goes into our Newry Building Supplies branch. Other goes directly into the south. I mean, obviously as well, we've a lot of suppliers based on the island of Ireland, so you don't have that issue at all. So it's a core of suppliers that are GB based. Some of it comes into the north, some of it comes into the south. Depends on where most of the product's going to end up. You want to just be as efficient as you can with your logistics.
And with all the uncertainty and craziness over the last year, how's business been?
Business has been good. Yeah, business has been good. After lockdown, we came back on a very phased basis. So branches opened maybe 2 at a time, maybe a week apart, week or 2 weeks apart. Employees came back on a phased basis. If you remember after the first lockdown, the weather was fantastic. Yeah. People were stuck at home. They were out in their back gardens. You could not keep landscaping and fencing and decking in the branches. it was just like it flew out. Not just us. I mean, every merchant. And business has continued to be good. It's deemed an essential service. Construction, there's a need for housing. There's a need of repair and maintenance. There's the whole garden thing. So no, business has been good.
And did you see an uptick in the online side of things for you guys?
Well, we don't sell directly online ourselves, although we anticipate starting to do that for our account customers from January of next year.
Great.
That's one of actually the very good things. If you can say there was a very good thing about lockdown, it gave us the opportunity to really get a couple of projects off the ground.
Amazing.
That we wouldn't probably have got finished except for that period of concentrated lockdown.
Yeah.
So not saying anything good about coronavirus, of course I'm not. But if you were looking for the glass half full, you would say there was a period there of about a month or 6 weeks when management were coming in, even though the businesses were closed. Key people were coming in, and we got 2 or 3 projects done, which we probably would never... No, we would have got done, but we just would not have got done in the short space of time.
And did I hear you right saying big customers only? Or?
No, account customers only. So any size of customer, as long as they have an account with Murdoch's.
Okay. And so right down to a bag of nails or whatever.
Right down to a bag
That's
of
amazing.
nails. Yeah.
That is the future.
That is the future. That's the future in every sector, I would imagine.
Because I know about the company that in the south that you concentrated within the M50.
Mm-hmm.
Will you bother opening any other branches if you can do it all online? You can just chuck all the money at online.
No, we love our branches. We love serving customers.
the lad's gotta
We
get
love
the coffee.
Absolutely. Got to come in for the coffee. So, no, we've 4 branches in the Greater Dublin area. So we've Balbriggan, Ballymount, Kilbarrack, Finglas. Finglas just opened last year.
That's the ad.
Thriving. And by the end of next year, very confident that we'll have one in Bray as well.
Fair play. Fair play.
So in fairness, Murdoch's is a very progressive company. And yes, I mean, we like to expand our footprint and we just want to get out there and serve the construction industry. It's what we do well. It's what we want to continue to do well.
All family owned.
Family owned, yes. Owned by 2 brothers, Kevin and Kieran Murdoch. There was a 3rd brother who sadly passed away in 2013. The 3 of them set the business up the guts of 40 years ago.
It's kind of like a little hidden gem. Not everybody knows about this one, do they?
And that's why I'm here, Connell, to unhide it. To unhide it.
And admit it reluctantly, because you are shy. You are shy.
Connell, no, well, yes, you were very persuasive. Yes, my initial instinct is absolutely not. Who else would be able to do that instead of
Who are
me?
you telling? He spent all of lockdown with me, trying to get me to do this podcast with him. And I was like, I don't know, Conal, I
Jamie,
don't know.
he told me that you came knocking on his door.
But come here, tell me this. What about... Okay, so is it fair to say a male-dominated industry?
I would say that it is, yes.
So how... Like, you don't strike me as shy.
No.
How has it been for you leading the charge in an industry like that?
Yeah.
And what do you tell younger women who are coming up in not necessarily construction but other industries that are kind of similar kind of split?
Yeah.
What are you saying to them?
Okay, well, what I would say to younger women is if you want to do something, go after it. The only thing I would say, and I said this to my daughter when she's 27 now, but when she was back 16, 17, and she was worried about not knowing what subjects to pick for A-level and what am I going to do, and I'm the only one in my class who doesn't know what they want to be. At that stage, I said to her, when I was 17, I didn't think I wanted to end up in a builder's merchant. But life takes you in certain directions.
Yeah.
And I would say to young women and young men, the building supplies industry is a brilliant sector, an exciting sector. I mean, obviously I'm going to say this because I believe it. Murdoch's is a very progressive company. We don't have that many long service employees if we're not a good employer. We really operate on the basis of promote from within. I mean, I come in as the group HR manager and I'm in the chief executive role now because Murdoch's is just a progressive organisation. It's a great place to work and it's also a great place to do business with.
You better tell me, are you hiring?
We're always hiring, yes.
Oh, there you go.
There we
are.
go.
Yes, we are rarely in a situation with a very active HR department who work very close. They're actually in the office next door to me. So very active.
Very, very active, so.
Very active, yeah, very active. We're usually, for lots of very valid reasons, promotion from within or people do occasionally leave us, etc., etc. But yeah, we're always hiring, yeah.
Any chance?
Or almost always.
Any
Talk to me
chance?
later.
Yeah.
Talk to me later.
This guy here is
Impossible to work with. I know. I can sense it.
That is Anne Morgan, who heads up the Murdoch Group in both Northern Ireland and in the Republic here. Fabulous story. And we will look forward to the opening on Bray in.
I would say Q4 Hopefully, all things being well.
Great. That's good. Excellent.
Yeah.
Growth.
Growth.
Anne, thank you so much for joining us on That Great Business Show.
Thanks, Anne.
Thank you very much.
And ThatGreatBusinessShow.com brings you the best hacks, insights, and business tips every week, all for free. And that is thanks to our sponsor, Mayo-based De Facto Shaving Oil. Their all-natural shaving oil is easily the best in the world because of its superior viscosity. That means it's slidier, leaving your skin smooth as a baby's
Is that
bottom.
the scientific term? Slidier.
Slidier. You're the engineer. It's perfect for men and women. And that's why it's the best anyone can get. De Facto backs us. Team GBS back them by buying De Facto online at defactoshave.com.
It's all go, le cuirsaí gno on thatgreatbusinessshow.com. That Great Business Show.
Now, Tralee-based WASP is one of the world's biggest manufacturers by volume of 3D objects in the world. Yes, you heard me right. You see, That Great Business Show brings you some of the world's most interesting businesses based right here in Ireland. And to give you an idea how big they are, they've produced products for IKEA and Next, and they do it all with 12 employees. The WASP model is fascinating, so who better to talk to about it than Sean Hassett, a WASP director and father of Shane Hassett, the company's CEO. Sean Hassett, welcome to That Great Business Show.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
We're delighted to have you all the way from Tralee.
Yes.
It is a fascinating company. Tell the world about it.
Well, WASP is a 3D printing or digital supply chain. It was started back in 2015, a little bit earlier actually. It all started off probably 2013, but let's say kicked off in 2015. It was, let's say, the brainchild of Shane and a lady called Mariana Cobol. And from there, it started out as an idea how to use the capabilities of 3D printing to bring this wow products to the many people.
Now, you live, eat, breathe 3D printing. Not everybody else does. And forever, when I think of 3D printing, I think of my little printer, as in ink. You've just got to put all of that out of your head. Printing is probably the wrong word for it. What can you do? What are your capabilities?
I was just before, what I think of is Star Trek.
Yes.
So I think of Star Trek and of the food magically appearing.
Yes.
And then I think of the most recent thing, seeing these kind of robots make 3D making houses,
Yes,
essentially. Tell me more about the actual applications of it right now.
Well, I'm a little bit older, so I joke a little bit with the young team that we have back in Tralee that, I was already 3D printing when I was some 9-10 years old, working in my uncle's shop back in West Limerick, making the ice cream cone, the 99?
Yeah.
Okay, because basically you start with the
cone.
The cone itself, and then you build it up.
Oh, yeah.
Like so with and you build up to 99 on top of it with the ice cream. And basically what you're doing is you're layering on top. So it's additive manufacturing rather than subtractive.
Flake or no flake?
No flake.
Raspberry Ripple or not?
No, Raspberry Ripple is not part of the actual 3D printing process. It's a post process which we can talk about also in a few minutes, guys. So this is basically 3D printing is additive manufacturing. So if you take normal manufacturing, it's mostly subtractive. So you take a piece of steel and you have to mill it away. So you start off with a block, you mill it away. And if you talk about metal, for example, you can have maybe 70% waste from what you start with, okay? And with other materials as well, wood and things like this. If you talk about plastics and things, injection molding is different, but you still have waste,
You still got to make the cast, though, for that, don't
you have to make the mold, which is very time-consuming and expensive. And with 3D printing, you don't need any molds, so you can actually print it. And the type of 3D printing we work with is a powder-based fusion. So you actually print, let's say, parts like this we have here. I have something interesting for you, maybe. It's a gimmick, but...
I'm holding a plastic rugby ball with the RFU. I love this. Yeah. With the RFU brand. And I'm looking... Is that Japan?
It's the
It
size
was
of an
for
egg.
Japan, yes. It
Yeah.
was for the World Cup, actually.
Yeah. Did you make these for people at the World Cup?
We made some, but we didn't actually send them out. There was some discussion with somebody involved with the RFU, but it didn't actually.
Tut, IRF.
But Japan is nice. I'll send it to my brother and his wife. She's from Osaka.
Okay, super.
And so the kids, there's one girl, one boy, and they're split between supporting Ireland or Japan. They're probably supporting Japan right now the way Ireland are going. But sure, well, that's for another day.
So basically, this is just an example. Sorry, this is just an example, and
So I have a question. So
yes,
I'm amazed at the wastage that goes on.
Yes.
Okay, but what happens, or what materials can you use in 3D printing?
the materials are developing, and we're even pushing it as well. For example, what you have in your hand is from polyamide 12. So this is known as PA12, which is actually a nylon material. And even here in
Really
3D
nice.
printing, in 3D printing here even, Jamie, this is, there's even a waste in this, which we managed to eliminate. You'll probably, if you did some research on this, you see we did a project with IKEA called Amadelbar. It's a special hand. It's a decor item. And in this product, we used 100% reused material. Normally, when you're 3D printing, and this was one of the things which especially Mariana and Shane and ourselves dislike, was the actual waste. You can waste maybe up to 50%. Yeah, this is another one. 50% of the material cannot be reused. But we actually said, okay, why not? We investigated, we made many research and did some tests. And we actually, for the IKEA hand, we produced it using 100% reused material.
Fantastic.
It was the first time it was done.
Now, IKEA is huge.
Yes.
How many hands did you produce?
For IKEA hands, we did something like 25,000, okay, pairs, okay, because there was a left and a right, and they went into each continent, spread all around the world, okay. It was a special edition, but they were sold in their stores, not all their stores, but stores in each of the continents. So in the US, in Asia, and China, and in Europe, actually.
And because one of the things about 3D printing is the ability to do it closer to where people are actually going to buy the product or need a product.
And
so for IKEA, for example, and across the globe, did you do it all from Chile? How did it work?
We actually produced it in 4 different locations, but we centralized it in one location then in Finland, and we shipped it from there. It was not completely according to our model, because our model is distributed manufacturing and to produce as close as possible to the point of need. But it was the first trial with a major customer, and just to keep, mostly because of their system, internal system, from ERP point of view, we had to do it that way. But our goal is normally to do it as close as possible to the point of need. So if we need something in Ireland, we do it in Ireland. If we need something in Germany, we do it in Germany. If it's in China, we should do it.
So do you have offices in China, in Germany, or how does that work?
No, well, it's a digital, okay, because everything is a file basically. So we have a digital warehouse. You have the parts in the digital warehouse, and then you cross borders, okay. In the future, there will probably be some things in relation to transfer of rights and where you pay the taxes and things like this.
It's almost like it's like a patent. It's like this design. I don't know what I'm holding here.
I will explain.
This looks very, very complex.
Yeah, it is.
And I'm sure that there is painting around that or design around that. So that would become the value, would it?
Yeah, what I have to explain maybe is that WASP is basically a digital supply chain, okay, where we use 3D printing as the tool, okay, and we only use we only get into a business or with a customer if 3D printing will add value, okay. So we actually take the whole supply chain from the very start. So customers can come to us just with an ID, with a sketch, with an actual design, with a part that they need to re-engineer.
Give me an example.
Give you an example. This is what I have here, what I brought you in as an example.
Which looks like a plug or something. Or
exactly, okay. And basically it's 2 parts, okay, and it fits together. Our customer came to us with the idea that they wanted to be able to sell more lights for your house, okay?
Yeah.
And normally your wife or somebody else decides, okay, I want to change the light, okay? It twists like so, actually, like this, okay? And I want to change the light in the room. But what happens? You have to call the electrician. You have to go out buy it. Then you have to call the electrician. Then you have to wait for the electrician. Maybe he doesn't come the day he said, and you have to stay at home and things like this. Okay, and in current times it's easier, but you're at home.
No, it's still pretty hard to get a Sparky. Yeah,
it can be difficult to get a Sparky. So the idea behind this actually is that the lamps you will install one part initially, okay, so it's fitted, but afterwards the other part is on the lampshade. okay, or on the light. And it can be on the light in the ceiling or the light on the wall. And then you basically just turn it and take it off. So anybody just can, the wife or the husband or the whatever can actually change.
Who owns the value in what you're holding?
We own the value in the main part of the design in this. Our customer owns part of it because they came with the concept, okay? But actually, there's a very specific part inside, which is a special turntable, which was designed by our people.
Okay.
And this we did in less than 3 weeks. Intrally. With our team, but a very young team.
Now,
there.
what are the more bizarre things that you've been asked to design?
If I can just explain a little bit more about this,
Yes, please,
this part here, if you put the two of them together, they weigh 15 grams. 15. Okay.
It's nothing.
Half an
How
ounce.
much do you think it would hold up?
5 kilos.
I'm going to shoot for the stars. My body weight, 100 plus kilos.
It will hold up half of your body weight. Okay. In the test, it has to hold for 1 hour 56 kg. Because the typical lamp hanging from the ceiling weighs normally 14 kg. But in the European standard from a test, in the test lab, you have to multiply by 4. So
my
56.
goodness.
So this 15 grams holds 56 kg in a test.
And
that's
is that down to the design or the materials that you're using?
It's down to the design. Mostly down to design is the big part of it, and also the materials and the approach. Okay, so this is that's one of the advantages of 3D printing. You can make things lighter but very complex.
So just on that, right? Just before we start wrapping up,
Yeah.
you know, where my head starts going with this is that this is bringing costs down,
Yes.
making things a lot more efficient.
Yes.
But we're hearing that manufacturing costs are going up.
Yes.
For example, and cost of materials is going up. What you do is it taking away or creating jobs, and B, is it creating better margin that will have the end consumer will get?
It is in probably creating new jobs. This is what I would say, because we talk about a distributed manufacturing, okay? And most people think of factories as being big places with lots of people and lots of machines. We're talking about more, if we go back, let's say, showing my age again, cottage industry. So you can actually build up a lot of our small companies around, dotted where you need them. This
And
could be
you
a
guys
potential.
empower them because you help people bring their ideas to life.
And this is our goal, basically, you know. So, and this is the goal of which we want to do, like bring it, as we call it, distributed manufacturing. Larger companies now have picked up on this name and start to use it as well. But I guess we were the first to start using it. And this is, let's say, the goal, to have more localized supply chain, localized manufacturing, localized supply chain. You know, so this is what we're doing, and our goal. And as we started out, 3D printing was very expensive. It was mostly for prototyping. It was outrageous expensive, actually, and even still today, some of the technology is outrageous expensive. But we work very strongly to try to push the prices down on the technology and on the materials as well. Okay, and part of this is coming from that the how should I say, the 3D printer is just a machine. You need to take into account the whole supply chain. And this is what we're building, is a network for the whole supply chain.
Before we end, paint me the future. What do you see as the future for this and for WASP?
Wow, this is a challenging question.
In 1 minute.
In 1 minute, okay. The future, I would say, will be localized manufacturing and supply chains. And the material will continue to develop, and there's good developments coming in the material. Circularity and sustainability is a really big thing. We already push on, let's say, materials like PA12, which is coming from a plant-based material. And so I would say in the future, more localized production.
Will you print my car?
I would say there are quite a few parts of the car probably printed today.
Oh.
In some cars, there are parts of the cars printed today. The whole car, I would think it'll take many years, because one of the challenges still today with printing is that you can mostly print only in one material. Printing in more materials. You mentioned to me before we came in about printing a house. Houses are printed, but basically it's again basically with concrete, you know, where they actually just flow it around and they build like so. But the windows are fitted separately and things like this, you know.
Finally,
Yeah.
what would you like listeners to That Great Business Show to do for you or with you?
I would say that we are finding more and more Irish companies are coming to us, okay, innovative Irish companies. This is really great. And most of our companies we have been working with, like we mentioned, the likes of IKEA, Logitech, people like this, but we work also with some very innovative young companies here in Ireland. We work with companies like Zigitech, Gagamuller. We work with like say Proverum and things that's doing prototypes and things like this. But we're working with companies where we can, normally a big challenge for companies, especially young companies, is that sometimes you have to order 100,000 units. Okay, with 3D printing, you don't. You can order one piece, 100. You have batch 1 to batch 100,000. Okay, for example, these we have produced more than 30,000. And but you can put 1,000 as well. So, for example, some of the companies in Ireland who are approaching us, we solve their challenges by coming very fast to the market, so we can turn things around very fast for them. And they don't need to order 100,000 or 50,000. They don't need to spend money on a mold to produce the parts, things like this,
Wow.
I think we'll put that down as a nice little business.
Yeah.
All based in Tralee, Cundahiri, down in Tralee.
Yes, sir.
And that is where anybody will find Sean or Shane. The Hassets are down there, and make contact with them. Sean Hassett of Wasp, thank you so much for joining us on That Great Business
Thanks,
Show.
Sean.
My pleasure, gentlemen.
Subscribe today to That Great Business Show on your favourite podcast platform, including Apple and Spotify.
That Great Business Show, your business sanity clause between now and Christmas, couldn't happen without the backing of that great shaving oil company, De Facto. Based in Mayo, you can buy their world-winning shaving oil online anytime at defactoshave.com. The great news, one bottle lasts over a year, and it's the ideal Christmas present from kids to parents.
That Great Business Show.
Centrepiece Rosettes is a small business employing 5 people in Kilcock, County Kildare, and as the name suggests, they make rosettes for events, horse shows and the like. But then came COVID. That has put a temporary end to events, including the Dublin Horse Show, a big and prestigious contract they had won. The next tsunami coming their way is Brexit, which is going to cause further misery as they import their ribbon from the UK. But despite all of this, and this is why we love the crazies behind the SMEs, founder and boss Tara Lane is still smiling. Tara Lane.
You're implying Tara's crazy.
Anybody who's in an SME has to be a bit daft because of, we were just talking about it there, nice to run your own business, but how many hours a day, a week, a year do you work, Tara Lane?
Well, during the busy time, I would be in the workshop at 6 a.m. and I could leave it at 11:30 at night during the crazy time.
That's busy.
That is very busy. It is.
Is it seasonal though for you?
It is very seasonal. It's from May through to about the end of September. But then we would have plenty to keep us ticking over.
Yeah.
May to September would be their crazy time because of all of the agricultural and equestrian shows that go on around the country.
Used to go on because they are gone temporarily, of course.
Temporarily.
And that hit the old biz.
It did. We're down about 80% on our turnover. But, you have to look at the positive, don't you?
And one of the positives, because you've just told us, I didn't know this, is that the downtime gave you the opportunity to get into other products.
Yes.
Which are?
We do a range of personalised products for the equestrians. So we do stable plates, personalised Christmas decorations, corporate gifts with personalisation on them. So it's only the very start of this range when we really get up and running with this machine, but I have lots of ideas for it. So it's quite exciting.
So, a lot of people talk about finding their niche and really becoming the master of that kind of niche and capturing it there. And you did that by all sounds, right? And you were absolutely booming it, okay? COVID hits, puts us all in this spin. But you said, instead of panicking, you got actually a bit more clarity, you got a bit more space to think. Can you talk us through that in terms of what were the ideas that you had just didn't have time to bring to life, or new ideas that you were seeing in the marketplace?
Yeah, totally. Well, first of all, 2 things I think really helped. I had done the lean production program with the local enterprise office. So normally we would be so crazy in the workshop that I wouldn't get time to step back and do programs like that. Also, the place would have been in such a mess mid-production that I couldn't bring anybody in, and we couldn't stop production to go through the exercises that are part of the lean program. So when things slowed down, I was able to step back and look at things with fresh eyes and a bit of time and a bit of headspace, and wasn't quite so exhausted. And I took that time to implement a lot of the things that I had learned on the lean program. So I turned a lot of stock ribbon into product, and I built up stock to sell. I put on special offers. We moved machines around. I sourced new products and so on, and got new suppliers and tested out stuff. When you're in mid-production, we would produce about 2,500 to 3,000 rosettes a week during the busy season. So you just don't have time for that, and you're not going to get new materials in because you're not going to risk the quality of them. You want to get to know them and see how they pleat up and so on. So I was able to do all of that. And then also I was able to look at different products. And I had, a couple of years ago, I'd gone to a show in the UK and I had seen a machine that I really wanted, but I only had one idea for it as a centre for a rosette. And with the sort of the lack of busyness going around in my head, I could actually stand back and look at what else could I do with this machine. And we're very lucky. We have a lot of followers and we're very well known in the equestrian market. But my followers on social media, I've say 3,500 followers on social media, but probably 300 of those are people who organise shows or run riding schools who order rosettes from us. The rest are people who have won our rosettes. So that target market is already there for a product. So these are the people that receive the rosettes at the shows. They're aware of our brand. They follow us. So I wanted to come up with products to sell directly to them, and hence the new range.
And in terms of the market, so correct me if I'm wrong, but you'd be operating heavily in Ireland and the UK.
Mainly Ireland. I purposely didn't go near the UK over the last couple of years because of Brexit.
Wow.
Because of we have plenty of expansion room in Ireland. I was worried about Brexit, and if I start building market share in the UK and Brexit comes in, that's going to cause me a problem. And also, I'm a great believer in getting to know other people in the same industry who you can benchmark against. And I have a couple of companies, and I think I spoke to you about this before, Conal. I have a couple of companies in the UK who I'd bounce ideas off. You know, we get on very well. We're not in competing markets. I would not move in and target their customers. So I concentrate on Ireland.
Plenty of space in Ireland for not just your main product, but the kind of multiple other products that you're bringing to the market. Is that
exactly? And I'm concentrating on the equestrian niche at the moment, but we can also branch out.
And how are you adapting then to Brexit? Because a lot of your supplies, though, are coming from Britain, aren't they?
Yes, all of my supplies are coming from the UK.
Go on, tell us about that. How are you preparing? It's about 5 weeks, is it, Conal? 5 weeks?
About that or less.
Yeah.
It's the day before the 1st of January, which is the
31st.
But it's actually the 30th for some reason. I was told that.
Just to really confuse us.
Something midnight on the 30th or something, because that's the day that, anyway.
So
bad day for everybody, basically.
So what have I done? Well, first of all, I've done programs with the local enterprise office. So the customs.
Sorry to jump in there, but again, Conal, how many times are we hearing about
every week? The Leo. Are you a Kildare Leo?
Yes.
Okay.
It's unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm learning more and more every week about how great they are.
And I keep in contact with them, and they are great at supplying us with people to put on as well, because there are, just like you, Tara, fantastic local stories. How many? You're keeping 4 people employed part-time?
Yes.
Yeah, fantastic. Sorry, 2 questions. You won the contract for the Dublin Horse Show.
Yes.
A huge contract.
A huge contract for ourselves, yes. Very excited to get it.
You lost that contract due to COVID.
Well, I wouldn't say I lost it. I would say that contract is postponed.
What was
we will look positive here.
If I were you, I'm being empathetic now. Did you cry?
No, I didn't cry. I'm a great believer in communication with your customers. I delivered the first batch of rosettes, the qualifier rosettes, which looks very nice on Jamie now.
He's wearing it around his mouth.
Yeah. And I had a conversation with the lady that I was dealing with in the RDS, and we said, look, what happens? We need to talk about the elephant in the room here. And she said, obviously there was no decision made. We are now at the end of, must have been the beginning of March, and we just had to wait and see what happened. So we've brought the rosettes to a certain stage, and as you can see, they're dated
220, which means that they are not usable unless you're going to use them as a...
No, they can be changed. The centre board can be changed. So I have a room in the workshop that is full of RDS rosettes.
And a little biro, a little Tipex.
No, we're much more professional than that. Much more professional. No, we will just re-centre them. So the ones, those qualifier ones have the centre boards, but they can actually be taken out. Now, we assemble our rosettes so well, it is a slight problem to take it out. And obviously, if the rosette gets damaged at all, it will go in the bin and we'll replace it. But the other rosettes that were manufactured for the RDS are brought to the stage where the centre board goes on with the date. We purposely left that till the last moment in case things were cancelled. Yeah. So we will just print up 2021 and off they'll go.
Because the other one that is the other elephant in the room, the one we were just talking about there in Brexit, that's going to be a big nightmare for you as well.
Brexit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Explain.
Okay. Well, a good few things. I mean, we discussed the customs workshop that I did, which terrified me. And
you discussed it with me, but you didn't tell Jamie.
Yes, Jamie.
Go on, give me the top line.
Yeah, the top line is it's going to be very hard for small businesses. I'm not quite sure whether every small business is aware of what we're going to have to do, but there's a lot of paperwork that has to be dealt with, and there's a cost associated with that. So during the busy season, I would have 2, 3, 4 deliveries a week coming in with ribbon. And each time a box or a pallet load arrives into us, we have to have the application form lodged with revenue. But I can't do that. I have to get a customs clearing agent to do that, right? So first of all, the commodity code on ribbon, the tariff is 7.5%. So the 7.5% on top of the purchase price that I'm paying for my ribbon. Mm-hmm. Then I have to pay a customs clearance agent to complete the application form. This
is only half of it. Go on, keep going.
Which is the exact same application form as the box that I received yesterday and the day before. The only difference is the value and the date. It costs between, and we've heard quotes of, between 65 and €125 for each application form per box. So if I'm getting
every box, every pallet,
delivery. So if I'm getting deliveries in, if I get 4 deliveries in and we're paying 125, there's €500 a week on paperwork. Now, I ask the question, can I get the software that talks to the revenue software, and can I complete my own? Because once somebody shows me how to fill in the application form, all I have to do is change the date and the value. And I think I can manage that, and I can have my little tick list. No, because the price to license the software that deals with revenue is very expensive, and it wouldn't be viable for me to take it on. You need huge volumes to take it on. So therefore you employ this customs clearing agent. Now,
so hold on. You're filling out the same form twice. The second form, basically, they're charging you €100 for
per
application.
Time they do it.
Yeah.
And like, you couldn't do something like, like we talk about blockchain technology, even barcode technology.
QR code or something
like that to make put it up in that magical cloud that we talked about before. Like, no, it can't be that simple.
Not at the moment, because I think what Tara is saying between the lines is, one, SMEs, there's going to be a big cost coming down the line. Two, some people might be making this difficult because it might suit some people.
We did have someone who was on the show a couple of weeks ago, and they were telling us about that like, where there's a big opportunity is actually in the agencies.
Was Carol Lynch of BDO, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was Carol, yeah. And she was kind of highlighting this problem
3,000 jobs is what she told us was coming
there
up.
aren't enough customs clearing agents. And I, as a small business, unfortunately, I'm going to be the bottom of the queue where you're going to have the larger businesses are going to get, with the volume.
They're not getting any bloody rosettes in there, are they?
We are going to run out of time. You are joining Team GBS. What can Team GBS do exactly? Jamie can fill out forms. He's very good at filling out forms.
Excellent. Well, what I need to look at is sourcing suppliers that aren't in the UK. But I hope I am a loyal customer and I get on very well with my suppliers in the UK, and I can be stuck for something and they can have it out to me in 2 days. That is going to change now because the deliveries are going to go into the bonded warehouse. If the application form is not lodged and paid, it will not be released. Then after a couple of days, they will start charging me rent for the box sitting in the corner, and then they will actually return it to my supplier if it's not paid. And I am going to be scratching my head trying to find my box.
You are going to go to the Leo or to Enterprise Ireland and or somebody else. There must be suppliers in France, for example. France is full of horses. Germany, full of horses. Italy. Pavarotti used to love his horses, Irish horses. Must be full of horses. Somebody there must have supplies for you.
Yeah.
Might even be at a better price. Anybody out there who knows who can help? Team GBS, to the rescue. So like that. On that happy note, Tara
my
Lane
God,
of
your
Centre
kids must be
Piece.
so embarrassed about you.
They love their dad because I entertain them. That is Tara Lane of Centrepiece Rosettes. And if we, she, they, or anybody else out there can help get proper ribbon from inside the EU to Tara, please tell us. Producer at thatgreatbusinessshow.com will get us. Tara Lane, thank you.
Thank you very much.
This could be your ad on thatgreatbusinessshow.com. That Great Business Show.
And a reminder that we still haven't given away the Cool Swan collection of bottles of the world's best cream liqueur. We'll give that another week, just in time for Christmas, to be in with a chance to win. Just go on to our Twitter account. That is at Team GBS1. Like it, retweet it, and tell your followers to subscribe to Ireland's best business podcast. We keep it simple. Now, the natterjack is the only toad species in Ireland and is recognisable by the yellow stripe that runs down its back. Now, I would never have known that we have toads in Ireland were it not for the Google machine. And
I don't even know what the difference between a toad and a frog is.
There's not a big difference.
Ribbit.
Someone tell him he's getting worse.
2 weeks. Thanks to
They are
Waterford
serious
based
dad jokes.
Gert Inn or Distillery. You see, Natterjack is their brand. Natterjack co-founder Aidan Megan is doing the crazy things that only entrepreneurs understand.
Working
He is
these
bringing
conditions.
himself and his very, very young family to live in Colorado early next year on a 5-year project to crack the mighty American booze market. You're very welcome to the Great Business Show, Aidan.
Why Colorado? It's an amazing state.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Are they the reasons, or is there an actual business reason behind this?
So we're in 9 markets in the States at the moment, but I had to convince my charming wife to come with me because ages ago when I was starting the project, she was supportive. She was pregnant. We were walking down to Leary Pier, and she said, "You know, you're this business and you're going to rock around the world selling whiskey. If you think you're going off on your own, there's no fucking way." So she said, "I'm coming with you. Let's do this together as a great adventure." So that was always the plan. If I was going to go and spend time in market, it would be all of us. We get the kids up, we all go. So last year we did kind of a 2-week trip across the States, visiting some of the markets, seeing distributors.
So what age are your kids?
2 years and 9 months and 9 months. That's a guess. In and around that.
They are your kids.
Yeah.
You should know this.
The last time
We're
we
waiting for
chatted,
the results of the test.
the last time we chatted, which is a few days ago,
Yeah.
you said a half and 1.5. Have they got older?
No, a half and 2.5.
Was that it?
Kids do grow.
Yeah, they grow older over time. But they're there's almost
young.
there's
They're
exactly
very,
a year between the two.
very
By the way,
young.
I think it's class. Being an army brat, my family traveling all around the
Yeah.
world, I think it's fantastic to do when
Yeah.
they're young.
And I think exactly, and we can. Would I educate them in the States? Probably not. So 5 years, kind of the idea is we get them back. So, but we'll see how that goes. But Colorado, we went on this 2-week trip to the different markets. So we went to New York, we went to Florida, we went to Illinois, and we were walking around Illinois one day, and Faye was like, "Do you really want to live here? It's massive. It's enclosed. There's no outdoor space. There's Dublin. We've the Dublin Mountains. We've the seaside, and it's just maybe not." So then it kind of we needed somewhere with the hub airport, so that's Denver, so that we can get anywhere. I need to get to China in 2 flights or Europe in 2 flights, and then anywhere internally. There's direct flights to most places in the States from Denver, so it's pretty sensible. It's also one of the three fastest growing cities in the States. The others being Austin and Seattle. There are other 2 options.
My question is, whatever Seattle, rain, the whole lot
that's
there.
the reason for not that.
Yeah, no. Why not Texas?
Texas is definitely a close second. If something happens
Yeah.
with Colorado, that's where we'll go. But the real reason is the accessibility within the States isn't as good.
Okay.
And if I'm going to do probably 15 to 20 shows next year in the US, that means I've got to fly off and leave the guys. And then if it's a two-day trip because of timings, that sort of their flight, it just makes it more complex. Also, I love skiing. And I'd rather live.
It was fair. I like where you get your priorities, right? But so America.
Yeah.
Okay. We had Cool Swan on here, and they were telling us about the problems with working with different distributors in the States, and how you got to be hands on because it's hard to trust them when you're away.
Really
is that your reason to be there,
Yeah.
or the fact that you want to crack that market?
2 reasons. One is exactly that. They're very difficult. I mean, if you think about the alcohol industry in America, it's probably one removed from the gambling industry, which is run largely by people of Sicilian descent.
Do not bring me into the High Court, please.
So, and if you think about it, so everyone has their hand out. It's because it's great margins in alcohol and people understand that, but you have to pay for everything. So and it's very hard without big volumes for anyone to care. So we don't have huge volumes yet. So we went a different direction with distribution. We didn't go with a nationwide distributor. We went and met small distributors. In November last year, I did 5 markets in 10 days. And I met all the distributors, met 2 meetings a day at lunch, 8 meetings in the evening, the bartenders, seeing, going into shops, doing tastings. And I sold 10 times over that 10 days the amount of whiskey our US operation had sold in the previous 2-3 months. And we realized that while Irish people don't care about meeting me as the founder of a whiskey brand, they're like, whatever, man, get out of my pub. In America, they're like, wow.
No, we'll let you into our pub.
Yeah.
Right? We'll let you in.
But he has to buy.
We're still not, Jamie, we're still not stocked.
Oh, here we go.
We have
I didn't know
tried
this.
numerous times and we
Really?
cannot get in
I
there.
might know someone.
Why is that?
You know
not-
I might know someone.
Tell us more. Why aren't
I have no idea. The bottles aren't there.
this is very
And I have a
interesting.
bottle at home,
Yeah.
and I drink it at home.
It was actually meant for the bar.
Yeah,
That's what happened.
That's the problem. They're like, why is our stock missing? Leave it with me.
Yeah.
Keep talking about the hands-on works over
Right,
in the States because
exactly.
they like you. You told me, hey, you're the founder.
Yeah.
What?
They're like, oh, so this is your business. They're really pro business and pro entrepreneurial, and they really like it. Whereas it's not necessarily as easy a sell. I'm a 40-year-old Irish guy. I'm not that charming to an Irish bartender. They don't really care. So there's that difference where it works quite well in the States. So we noticed that big difference. There's also very few founder-led brands will go and move to a market. So they'll go twice in a year to the US to see a spirits show. Whereas I'm like, I think the way that we crack this and really crack it is for me to go for 2 to 5 years and really focus on a market like Denver. There's no point in me going and spending 2 years in New York because if you think an Irish bartender doesn't care, a New York bartender cares even less. But in a place like Denver that's 600,000 people, growing fast, big cocktail scene, and we make it Natterjack's home, well, then I think we can really have some impact.
It is a big ask of you. You're obviously daft as a brush.
Yeah, that's been said before.
Everyone and their dog was doing gin for a while, right?
Yeah.
And then there seems, obviously whiskey follows gin,
Yeah.
right? And the whiskey kind of trend is coming, or for want of a better word. But how is it traveling in terms of Irish whiskey? Because obviously, if I'm correct here, pre-prohibition, Irish whiskey industry was absolutely flying it. Then it shutters and goes dead. And now is it reviving, or is it just people jumping on the bandwagon? And how's that traveling?
Maybe a little bit of both, but the real numbers behind it suggest that we're only at the early stage of it. And just very briefly, I tell this to anyone who listens, but there's 33 working distilleries in Ireland. Ours will hopefully be the 34th. That's for 4% of the global whiskey market, right? Scotland has 170 for 60% of the global market. The US has at last thing I read, about 2,200 distilleries. So really, we don't have a lot. We have the best product in the world. Of that, I have no doubt. We have the best story. We create the bloody stuff. So we have room to grow. And we're probably, for Natterjack, who we're trying to take the market from, is not from Jameson. I mean, we're never going to convince a Paddy drinker to come over to us. He doesn't care about a pretty frog from Kilmacthomas. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're never going to convince him. But what we are going to convince is somebody who likes a bit of bourbon, likes their gins, maybe wants to try a crossover spirit, and that allows us to open up the market to them through our versatility.
Is that why Jack Daniels sent you a letter?
Yeah.
I like that story.
So the day after 2 weeks after we registered Natterjack in the States, we were trying to raise capital, and I had been to every outhouse and hen house to try and raise money for this business, and I was going broke myself, the whole thing. This letter comes in from Jack Daniels, and I was like, okay, now they want to invest. I open it up, and it's a cease and desist. Says, we're suing you because we own Jack in relation to whiskey production, and you can't have it. And I was like,
how would you stop?
I know. Cost us 25 grand in legal fees to make it go away.
Piss off.
Yeah. We agreed we'd never produce Tennessee whiskey. And now we have...
so what does that mean? You don't produce it in Tennessee? Tennessee
whiskey is a style of whiskey in the States. It's different to bourbon. The mash bill is slightly different. I think it probably has to be created in Tennessee, but I'm not sure. So Jack Daniels isn't bourbon, it's Tennessee whiskey, and we're not allowed to produce Tennessee whiskey.
Either way, the name was Natterjack, not...
It was ridiculous.
See, look, I'm being very public about how I don't like corporate bullies. FBD, exactly, are you listening? But, I love that. I love it when they fire off letters and you go, you know what? No, like,
are you going to
common sense here.
Jack Daniels from your pubs and list Natterjack? There you go.
Well, I will talk to Noel Anderson, who is the head honcho.
Fantastic.
See what I'm doing for you?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm
absolutely. This show's paying for itself.
You're beginning to sound like a distiller, but of course you're not a distiller.
We're not a distiller, no.
So how did you get into it?
Exactly. You have nothing to do with booze.
No.
Except drinking it.
So, exactly. So I was 35, divorced, trading equities in London, having what some people might describe as a nervous breakdown, but I describe it slightly differently. I was just having a moment of pause. And
moment of clarity.
A moment of clarity, exactly. And I was sitting there. Look, I had a great job. I loved it. The people I worked with were great. And I didn't find it very stressful. But I was like, is this it? Mm-hmm. Is this, honestly,
That's exactly what the moment I hit. In stockbroking, there's something odd about that time. Just say, "Oh, come on."
But you do. There's a point, isn't there? You pass. I think they say it's 75,000, right? That after 75,000, I think the study was dollars. That the return on investment of that, in terms of your happiness, it actually kind of goes down. It's not linear like it was to that point.
I don't want to make this about me because it's not about me, but it had nothing to do with money. It was just like I couldn't bear to do the same stuff yet again. It's the most uncreative business I've ever come across. Selling stocks and shares is for people who are not very creative. I'm moving on. Yeah. Back to you. Sorry.
So now I traded equities successfully for 10 years, and people think that you need to be a maths whiz. I wasn't a maths whiz. I did ordinary maths. But on my applications when I went to London, I just put down B1 mathematics. They don't know that there's 2 levels of maths in Ireland.
Oh, good man. I love it.
So I looked like a whiz kid. So I went in.
You weren't lying.
No, I wasn't. I did not tell a lie. So then I got the job and everything was great. But I worked out that all I needed to be able to do was tell when somebody was trying to screw me. Then it didn't matter. My maths I could use in Excel for. That didn't matter. All I needed was basic arithmetic and smelling when there was a lie on the table. And that was the basis for
cha-cha-cha.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I think I described it to my dad once as a mixture of basic arithmetic, aggression, and charm, and that got me there. So you have your moment of clarity, okay?
Yeah. And then Where does the whole idea of
Go out for a pint with one of the lads, say, think about doing a whiskey distillery. Oh, no, sorry. Went to a focus group run by a friend of mine who her friend was doing whiskey, and I noticed that all the questions were being asked of me, as in what is a 35-year-old guy with a disposable income, what does he want from whiskey? So I went for a beer with a friend of mine, and the next morning I got in work. I'd been a few beers, who knows, we discussed, and in my inbox was an email from him that said, here's how you make whiskey, maybe that's a good starting point. And I was like, that is a good starting point. So quit my job, went off to Louisville, Kentucky to do a distilling course, a craft distilling course, 3 days in Louisville, and met Jordan Vaya, who's our head distiller now. He was giving a talk there. He was in the car park after I came out of the talk, staring off the mountains. I was like, I just saw you talk. Yeah, is everything okay? He's like, I just saw my distillery. I was like, buy you a drink. So we went in, had a couple of drinks. His wife came and joined us. I told him the thing. He's like, what do you need? I said, I need to go and work at a distillery. He's like, come to Breckenridge in Colorado and stay with me. You can work 2 shifts a day. You learn how to make whiskey. So off I went, spent a month, which is probably too long if you ask them, living with them. They were like, who's the fucking Irish guy?
Paddy
He's still here.
He turned up for we thought a day.
A week. Need him to get out. So I spent the month living with them. Then Jordan came on board. He's been super. He's blended everything we've done to date. He will move to Ireland for the build after the distillery's up and running.
Where do you hope to build the distillery?
We've got planning on a building in Kilmacthomas in Waterford.
Not any building. A most beautiful building.
Like
Probably the most beautiful building, certainly in Kilmacthomas.
Absolutely. In the surrounding area. It was built by Lady Waterford back in the 1850s to create jobs for women in the town after the famine. And then it burnt down in 1950, became a Flavin's oat mill, then oat storage. And so they put on 12 silos on the back. That'll be our barrel storage. Just an amazing building, but it went fallow in 1995 and we took it over then. Oh, sorry, we didn't. We took it over in 2016.
You are going to head to Colorado early next year, yeah? Before that, what can Team GBS do for you?
Ask for a bottle of whiskey in your local off
You're
license.
allowed to do that. What about connections? Can anybody introduce you to people? Do you need finance?
Absolutely. We funded we took an investment from a US company. So that is what we're using for the growth of the brand. We have some funding for the building. There's 3 phases to the build. Phase 1 is funded, but if people want to look at a property funding process. So we probably won't take more equity in the marketing side of the business, but we have a building that is a separate entity that we would look at.
So somebody could buy that and you will lease it from the
Natterjack will lease the
exactly.
building.
Yeah, from the central co. So we'd obviously.
So you're not looking for. Sorry, just so we're clear here, you're not Natterjack. Let's say the whiskey arm of the company isn't looking for funding.
Not
or
looking
is
for funding
looking
at the moment. No.
But you're looking for funding to help
on the
facilitate
property
this
side, the
build out.
manufacturing side.
And then
of the business.
how can we help you with US market, China market? Because we have listeners all over the place.
Absolutely. So in the US, we're in 9 markets. So let me try and get it all right.
Louisiana is one of them.
Louisiana is good. I forgot that last time. So Louisiana, Illinois, New York, Texas, Washington State, Oklahoma. I've forgotten a few more, but yeah. New Hampshire, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. Yeah.
Hey!
There we go.
You are already there, so you want people outside of there.
Yeah.
And then Jamie mentioned China.
Yeah, and then in China, we are available on JD, I think it's called, and WeChat.
JD.com, is it? Yeah,
it is, yeah. And they've got a
yeah.
beautiful website of a guy standing on the top of a mountain that isn't me, but it looks incredible. And so anything in relation to creating a chatter around that in China would be awesome.
And they will find you where?
Natterjack.com.
And are you, sorry, random question. Well, no, it's not that random. Off Trade is flying it.
Yeah.
Is the website going well, or do you sell through the website?
We do. We sell merch through the website. We don't have a license to sell alcohol through the website. You need to be linked to an off license. But Station to Station Wine, they deliver nationwide in Ireland. Celtic Whisky Store deliver globally, and the same with James Fox, I believe. So there's availability there. And although I can't remember, there's a New Jersey website that will send to 48 states in the US. So there's ways we can get it to you. But
I think we can say he's available worldwide, global.
And we'll be in the bridge soon.
In the bridge instead of Jack Daniels. I love it.
And that is Aidan Meegan, who is the co-founder of Girton Nora Distillery. And we would have had Lisa, your
Lisa, my co-founder,
second cousin,
Lisa's a
with
legend.
us. But COVID rules don't allow that. No. So, Aidan, thanks very much. You might even come back to us when you have done Colorado and cracked
Definitely.
the
Love
American market. Thanks very much, Aidan Meegan.
Thanks, guys.
You're listening to That Great Business Show with Connell Moran and Jamie Heaslip. ThatGreatBusinessShow.com.
It started with an iPhone. A young lad in first year in school wanted the latest iPhone. His dad, John, wisely told his son, Evan, to go and earn some money. Go-getter that he is, Evan Googled and found a business idea. He makes what are called wax melts, basically an improvement on the scented candles used in houses all over the world. Based in Limerick, Evan Quaid is the brains and the brawn and everything else behind Quaid Candles. He's only 16 years old, but this year he has had his major breakthrough, being listed in all of 145 Aldi stores across Ireland. He's part of Aldi's Grow with Aldi programme, and so far 120 Irish suppliers have benefited from that programme, getting tailored mentoring, business workshops from the Aldi buying team, as well as Board BIA technical experts, teaching them the skills to help grow and develop their product, brand and business. Evan Quaid, congratulations and welcome to That Great Business Show.
Thank you very much.
You've made it. You're 16 and you are in every Aldi in the country.
Yeah, so it's 144 Aldis all over Ireland. We went into last Thursday, they launched officially. Yeah.
So just 144 stores at 16?
Yeah, just 144 stores.
I don't know, biggie, like. What do you do at 17?
I don't know.
Take over the world?
Possibly, yeah.
I have a question, right? So, iPhone. I get the motivation. You want the new iPhone. Get it, right? But where does the inspiration come from to do wax candles?
Yeah, so we do candles and wax melts. We do both.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, it's the wax melts gone into Aldi now. But I don't know, I suppose I really just wanted the new phone. That's what I really wanted at the time.
Yeah, I understand going down the YouTube rabbit hole, right? But how did you arrive at this?
I suppose it all started when I was just looking up ways to make money. That was what I was looking
Okay,
up.
what were the ways? Yeah. What were the ways
Did you
said
Google
no to first?
Did you Google ways to make money?
Yeah, it was fairly Wikipedia page then scrolling.
Oh my God, what came up?
I know, I can't even remember, but I remember seeing a YouTube video on candles and then bought a small little kit off Amazon. It was a little 500 grams of wax, and it's mad because we're now buying like 25 kgs of wax. Multiple boxes of that, but yeah, we still have the small little 500 gram bag at home somewhere. It's in some drawers where we all started, but it all kind of started there. Yeah, and now we have a port cabin out the back of the house where we make candles.
Who makes candles?
Me and Dad do it now. So
your dad is involved.
Yeah,
okay.
so it started with myself, but when I was in like
So
first year,
is he an employee?
yeah, he's
Are
an
you the
employee.
boss?
Yeah,
And he's
I
your
suppose-
driver?
Yeah, he's my personal chauffeur, I suppose you could call him, but
So would you call him your PA?
potentially, yeah.
Hey, Pa,
Oh God.
I'm so quick.
Oh my God. I'm sorry that you have to witness this.
Yeah, no, so we're kind of 50-50 partners at this stage. Really,
No,
is,
you're the boss. You can say you're the
Yeah, I
boss.
suppose I'm the boss.
Make sure you're 51%.
Yeah, of
Lesson
course.
in life. Just don't. Now, back to Aldi. That's a big, huge market for you. I
Yeah.
mean, let's be real. You are just starting out.
Yeah,
145, I think.
44. Yeah.
Stores. Times you've done one box in each, I think. Isn't
So
that
there's
it?
about one box in each. So 73 boxes went to the Nace depot and 72 went to Mitchelstown. So there's 32 wax melts in each box then.
But before that, you had to make these things.
Yeah.
Because you are actually physically making them.
Yeah, they're all handmade, hand poured, everything in our.
How long does
little
that
shed.
take?
It took us about 2 months to make the wax melts themselves.
What, you come home from school and you start...
Yeah, me and Dad in the evenings, weekends, everything. Yeah, it took us about 2 months. And then when we finally got the labels approved, it was very last minute, very rushed. The week of having to deliver them is when we finally got labels approved. We labelled about 4,000 wax melts in 3 days.
Am I right in saying, though, your first go at Aldi, you didn't get in or you didn't win the competition?
Well, how it worked really is their sponsors Board BIA. So it's all food products that went in. So what they did with me, I suppose, I was about 14 when I did it then.
So you broke the rules firstly. Tell people about that.
I broke major rules. It was over 18 was the first condition of, literally the first thing on the contract was over 18. But we sent it in anyway, put Dad's name down on it as well. So
Cheeky.
I know, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, so we got a call back then, went up to Nace, went up to some hotel in Nace where we pitched to the buyers. So all the buyers were literally sitting down and you could hear everyone else pitching as well. You had a 5-minute pitch, very strict time, in and out. And then that kind of started there. And then we met a few people from Aldi, Michelle Allen, Laura Harper. They're kind of the main people over Grow with Aldi. And then that's kind of their initiative for small businesses is Grow with Aldi. That's where that kind of started. So we entered that. They, again, Board Bia was their sponsor, so they didn't really know what to do with me. So they brought me to the ploughing in 2019.
The moment they found out that you would have been 15 at this time?
Yeah, about 14 or 15.
Go on. So what, like, were they like, how did they tell a 14, 15-year-old you didn't win?
Well, it's not really that we didn't win, because there was obviously the overall winner. I think the original prize is like a year shelf space. That's what you get for winning. And then there's runners-up who get into their weekly special buys. They come in then. I think it's a Thursday or a Saturday or something like that. But we knew kind of going into that, whatever we'd get would be great, because we kind of realistically, we were quite small then. We were working out of our playroom. We wouldn't have been able to make for Aldi. Like, we would not have had the manpower at the time, even though it's the same manpower now and we did get it done, but we wouldn't have been able to do it. So they kind of knew that as well. So they brought us to the ploughing, put us into the Aldi tent.
That's mad.
Yeah. We weren't allowed to sell there though. That was kind of the one drawback, because Aldi have some agreement with the ploughing that they don't sell anything in their tent. It's all samples in this tent, but we didn't have to go out samples. We were just kind of showing off our products, and then they help us set up a website as well. So they help pay for our website.
It's amazing, because they're doing such great work supporting a lot of Irish businesses. And the reason I've a bit of an inside track on it is that one of their food buyers, cake buyers, is my old classmate, Peter Bow, who sends me up cakes the whole time from him.
Everything sent to you.
It's a buddy. He's working there. I'm helping him. Right?
And your other buddy is there as well, isn't he? Paul?
Oh, well, Paul, yeah. Big Paul
Big
O'Connell. Yeah. You'd see him if he was in the office, all right. But they've done a great job, and it's great to see them supporting guys like you. So you come up with the idea, you pitch it, they tell you, and then do you have a bit of a, oh shit, type of moment of, we've got to deliver?
Yeah, so that was kind of for the first launch, for the first kind of competition, we were kind of like, oh, we're not going to get much out of this. We're not going to get any kind of delivering, that wasn't really a problem for us. But this time, when they put it out in August, I think it was, they put it out that if anyone wants to send up samples, that they'll have a look at it. So we sent up samples. They came back to us, and when they said, I think it was, we had 4,460 units, I think, went out. So that was mad. It took us about 2 months to make all of those. So that was every evening in. And then labels, the most stressful thing. Most stressful was the labels. It was a couple of days before, like, labels got approved Monday, went to print Tuesday, got them Wednesday. They wanted them for Friday. So we got it pushed back. We asked, could we push back Sunday? We agreed on Saturday morning at 6 a.m. up in Naas. So Dad had to borrow a van from someone and bring him all the way up to Naas at 6 a.m. I'd say he left the house about 3, I think.
I should have told Mr. and Mrs. Heaslip down there in Naas to take the kettle on for you.
But no, he was up and down back home by 9 that day as well. So
he's a delivery driver as well.
Yeah,
now?
he does it all.
Okay.
He does it all.
Good worker?
He's okay.
Tell me what happens next. Because they are on sale now, so all Team GBS go buy melted wax melts.
Wax melts. And they're in all 144 stores?
Yeah.
And you have a website?
QuakeCandles.ie.
After that, what happens?
In terms of what?
Like, what other products, sales?
Like, you've started. And you've bought your phone. I presume you've got your phone at this stage.
Oh, man, he's on the iPhone 12 now. Like, he ain't messing around. So, Aldi, they're in Northern Ireland. Is there an opportunity to expand with them?
Well, I do know, actually, we've a lot of cousins over in America, and I was getting loads and loads of Facebook messages saying that they were all emailing corporate Aldi over in America. There's about 2,000 stores, so
now we're getting
that would not be
serious.
something that we could... That would
you
not
might need bigger reports.
No, never say couldn't or never.
Not right now.
Two words
in fairness,
entrepreneurs never use.
You weren't meant to do it, you're meant to be over 18, and you said to that, you know what I mean? So...
2,000.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they've got some operations, I believe, across Europe.
Have you got any siblings that you can enroll in here?
Well, my sister's 12, so probably not. Well, she was actually, in fairness to her, when we were doing all the labels.
It's a good age to start them, isn't it?
Yeah, she needs to.
Yeah, she was doing the labels. She was very good at putting on, and she was our QC, quality control. So she was making sure there was no air bubbles, no knotting, no rips, and she was very good. She took her job very seriously.
Oh,
so,
good.
Yeah. So
you better give her a name check. What's her name?
Aoife.
Aoife.
Yeah.
Well done, Aoife. Right. What can Team GBS do for you?
I suppose they can follow us on all our social medias at Quaid Candles.
Quaid, Quaid, because I'm looking at his branded top.
This man is on
We got
point.
all these done as well for when we went to the ploughing with Aldi. We've got
I'm going to be cold out in the porta cabin.
Yeah, very well. We've a little radiator beside me, so I kind of like hover over the radiator when packing orders in the evenings. Yeah.
And back to my original question about packing further orders. Once they're gone in Aldi, they're gone. So Team GBS better buy them rapidly.
Yeah, I know they're sold out in our local Aldi in Newcastle West. They're completely sold out. We got numbers today. So they launched this day last week and we've sold 62%
Happy days.
in the first week.
That's good.
62% of all your stock that you put out across 144 stores is gone in a week.
I think it was
You better
like,
start
you're
melting
16.
candles.
yeah, I think it was 26% in the first day. So
You better get your Da and Aoife back on back into the porta
We're in
cabin
the
out there.
gig here.
I think so, yeah.
You need some staff, yeah?
yeah, I might be hiring soon enough. So we have a few upcoming projects and we might need some people.
Final question. You always, because people like you always do, have another idea. What's the next one?
It's actually business-wise because I know after school I don't want to continue business full-time. I want
Hang on.
something...
What are you doing here?
It's something I want to have. I just want to pay someone else to do in the background. I want to go into science, so that's
He's
where
an
I'm planning
investor.
on going.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
What science do you like? What sciences do you like?
I'm thinking about biomedical at the moment. It's
Good
kind
man.
of-
I did medical mechanical engineering out in DCU.
You're an ambassador for Trinity as well, aren't you? Or something like
I'm
that
studying in Trinity.
as well.
Yeah. I'm trying.
See, never stops.
I'm hustling.
Evan, thank you very much for joining us
Evan,
on
it's
That
class.
Great Business Show.
Thanks
That
so
is
much for
a
having
one
us.
fantastic story.
Class. So give us a bit of context here. You're 16. Like, what are your buddies doing, or what do they make of you doing this?
But I suppose like they've known me through all of this, so it's not different for them. It's like I'm just Evan to them when I go to school. It's not that big of a deal.
So you're like, sorry lads, I can't go kick the ball about or do whatever, play Fortnite. I don't know what you 16-year-olds do. I'm too busy selling all my stock to Aldi around Ireland.
Yeah, it just doesn't really bother them. They just don't really
They go,
care.
fair enough.
Yeah, they're like, grand, nothing new.
Evan Quaid, Quaid Candles, thank you very much for joining That Great Business Show. And that is it from episode 10 of That Great Business Show. Thanks to sound engineer Alison O'Dwyer and sound editor Peter Rice of the Dublin South FM podcast studios for all the love and care they give to this podcast. As always, a big thanks to sponsor De Facto Shaving Solution. Buy it online at defactoshave.com. Martina Kramer-Webb at Aldi wins Best Suggestion of the Week for telling us about Evan and his incredible Aldi journey. And Kildare accountant Eilish Quinlan told us about centrepiece rosettes. Finally, do tell your pals far and wide to subscribe to thatgreatbusinessshow.com. That way I and the great Jamie Heaslip can be yakking in their ears every time they go for a walk. Speaking of that great Jamie Heaslip, as usual, I leave the last word